I mean, this is insane. It really is. We've given away, believe it or not, one at a time in the past. Here, Yardley.
Yeah.
Yardley's addicted. In fact, I got a call last week from the DEA, that's a drug enforcement agency. These things are so addictive, we got problems. But anyway, Yardley's addicted to them. Over the past 2.5 days, we've given out at the DNA booth, and there'll be plenty more today, close to 15,000. You believe it, Ed?
15.
Dr. Lamb's one at a time, all right?
One at a time. OPC3. Now you got to come up to the booth. We got lots more. Yeah, but we've given out right now about 15,000 chews, one at a time, to everyone. Hey, those of you who have tasted it, do you like the taste? Yeah.
I mean, think of it. This is OPC3. This is each one of these little chews is one capful of OPC3. It's not only for kids. I mean, this is for grown-ups as well. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it has the same active ingredients as OPC3 isotonics, the adult form, OPC3. And so we have on the screen here the packaging. Many of you haven't seen the packaging yet, and that's part of it. It's so great because the packaging is a self-standing pouch, and it has a Ziploc top, so you can open and close it. And there's 30, oh great, there's 30 individual servings, and each serving is individually wrapped in foil. So they're great to take along on travel, and also to give out to friends.
That's right. I mean, for adults and for us, if we hadn't had our isotonics in the mornings, we skipped out on it. We could just take a handful, 5 or 6, throw them in our pocket, and get on with our day. No,
I walk around with them in my
Well,
pocket.
that's the incredible thing about it. That's why they're not just for children. For adults. It's going to be huge when you're traveling. If you don't want to travel with, a more cumbersome bottle, take a handful in your pocket, and you're good. You're good. They're incredible.
Okay, so just move on.
That's it.
Okay, so now these OPC3 chews contain the same active ingredients as Isotonics OPC3. And that includes the active premium ingredient pycnogenol. And today we are privileged to have with us a respected expert in pycnogenol, Dr. Lamn.
Woo!
Dr. Lamn is medical director of New York University's Preston Robert Tisch Center for Men's Health. And as a principal investigator, he evaluated the role of nutraceuticals, including pycnogenol, in men's sexual and cardiovascular health. Dr. Lamb, you see him regularly on TV shows giving his commentary on medical-related topics. You see him on TV shows like Today, like Nightline, The View, Dateline. So we have him here today live. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Lamn.
Thank you all very much. Always a privilege to be here. Marty, let it ride. You know what that means. Let me just begin. Some of this material you've heard in one way or another, but I don't think you can ever hear the material that I'm going to be talking about enough. As a physician, it's really quite clear that health is wealth. And with health, you have an opportunity to realize your potential, to spend time with your family, to create entertainment, and to live an ethical and moral life. And let me tell you, when you don't have your health, things can be, as we would say, quite depressing. One is never too old or too young to start to make some changes. And I think that when you live in a toxic environment, it actually is quite important for you to become proactive in taking care of yourself. Every day when I see patients, and I do see patients, and all of you are welcome to visit the new Center for Men's Health at NYU at 555 Madison Avenue. It's truly one of these amazing places that was a result of a very significant contribution by the Tisch family, and it gives us an opportunity to take care of both men and women, by the way, but men are so underserved because, they don't appreciate that health really is wealth. And I know Lauren and JR are going to come and visit us. I think that when patients come and see me at the center, I challenge them to start to take better care of themselves. So when they come in and ask for a physical, I ask them, what are they doing to improve their health? And I want a commitment that for every year they come and visit me, that they actually get healthier. And so when I ask people about what they do to get healthy, they always start with exercise. But the reality is you have to actually start with nutrition, because it's the nutrient value of the foods you eat and your ability to absorb those nutrients which will ultimately determine how healthy you are. Of course, exercise and sleep and stress management are important, but the most important determinant are nutrients. And I think the real question is, are we getting an adequate amount or an optimum amount of nutrients in our diet? And think about it, if you as adults are not getting an optimum amount, and you can select the foods, you can go to Whole Foods, you can pick the asparagus and the blueberries, do you think your children are getting them? Right? So we need to create an opportunity to defend against this toxic environment that is basically promoting aging and heart disease and cancer. And that's where OPC3 really comes in. It's one of the great defenders. You should stand up and applaud, because basically they are an essential part of what all of you have available. That is the defender. All right? And there's an onslaught in the environment, both externally and internally. So when you look at your children, you realize that you have an opportunity to enhance the nutrients that they are going to be taking in a form that they can actually absorb. If you can't absorb the great foods, you cannot gain any benefit from it. So start thinking in terms of foods that your children will be exposed to at a younger age and continue throughout their lives. Because many of the diseases that we see in your 40s and 50s and 60s have been planted 15, 20, 30 years earlier. So you want to start with the children, and you want to start preparing them for this onslaught in our environment. And it's not going to get better. All right? So when you look at children, what are you looking for? You're looking at trying to reduce what we call these free radicals that are involved with destroying and injuring DNA and cells. All right? So how do you do that? Well, you have to have, substances that you put into your diet, the fresh fruits and vegetables, foods that have color to them, orange, yellow, red, blue, purple, whatever color they are. But you also want to enhance their diet. You don't want to risk their being deficient. And that's where some of the antioxidants that are now currently available. I already had 2 of the chews this morning. I already got 15 milligrams of pignogenol and grapeseed and bilberry. Fantastic. All right? So when you look at pignogenol, it's probably the most studied nutraceutical on the planet. If you actually did a PubMed research project and you wanted to see, where were they doing research on pignogenol, which I'll talk to you a little bit about, you'll realize that there's so many evidence-based scientific studies in a variety of areas with reference to pignogenol. And basically what you're looking for is evidence in what you eat and your activities, because you want to optimize your health. All right? So what are some of the areas that have been studied with pignogenol that might be applicable to children? We know that probably the number one neurologic, psychiatric, although it's not a psychiatric disease, is attention deficit disorder. And we probably overdiagnose it and we probably underdiagnose it, but there clearly are a significant number of young children who have trouble with attention, who have trouble paying attention in all the environments, both in school and at home and socially. And by the way, when I hear about a child having hyperactivity or inattentiveness, I know that one of the parents have it. So I have a growing number of young adults who I see, both men and women diagnosed a little later in life because they don't show the hyperactivity. in which we treat these people. The problem is that the medicines we have, all medicines that I have a benefit and have a collateral damage. So you want to minimize the medicines at all, whether it's at a high dose, try to get a lower dose. If they're a lower dose, see if you can change their lifestyle. Well, believe it or not, some of the studies on pycnogenol have actually shown in double-blind, clinically evidenced studies to reduce some of the manifestations of children with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So does it make sense to try it on your child who's got hyper? Of course it does. Maybe they can either use less medicine, or maybe you could eliminate it altogether, right? That's pretty important. Less is more, okay? I judge how good a doctor is by whether or not that doctor is able to imbue in their patients an ability for them to change their life so that they can use less medicine, less blood pressure medicine, less cholesterol medicine, less hyperactivity medicine, okay? How about asthma? Childhood asthma is really common, whether it's environmental or internal, right? And these kids really, it affects the quality of their lives. They're using inhalers, which can be very effective. But as I said, every medicine has potential toxicity, all right? So they've actually done a study with pycnogenol showing that in mild asthma, it actually may have a very positive impact. So if you have a child with allergies and asthma, what's the downside to trying pycnogenol? It's like telling them, eat well, and maybe your asthma will get better. It's just like a no-brainer. So look, here are the all-stars. Here's OPC3, and here are the players. Pycnogenol, grapeseed extract, red wine, bilberry. These are all established, studied, safe products. All right? These are not brand new something, that people have just discovered. These are established players. Pycnogenol, as I said to you, has been studied in asthma, in ADD, cardiovascular disease, menstrual problems, a whole host, hypertension, high cholesterol, diabetes. There are individual studies that you can review on the use of pycnogenol. Well, pycnogenol is one of the ingredients in your OPC3 and in your chews. Once again, it's not that complicated. These slides are basically just validating many of the studies that have been done, whether it's for your skin or for your joints or for your heart. Every one of us is going to be at risk for one of these issues, whether it's diabetes, whether it's arthritis, whether it's asthma. And that's where the role of pycnogenol comes in to reduce the likelihood or perhaps reduce the severity of some of these conditions. Grapeseed is another wonderful polyphenol, as we call it. Very similar in some ways, but I don't think as powerful or as effective as pycnogenol. But in the OPC3 that you have the whole greater than the sum of its parts. You have now, it's called synergy. You've combined products together to enhance their value. So now you have pycnogenol, to which you've added a very established, studied grapeseed. And now you're adding red wine extract. Rather than having 2 bottles of wine, which unfortunately carries some toxicity, all right, as Marty and I have noted several times, okay, you're better off with the extract in a minimal form so you get the benefit without the collateral damage. And then you get bilberry extract, which is almost like blueberries, very effective in supporting cardiovascular visual issues. Then you add the citrus bioflavonoids. All of these are doing very similar things, but the combination really puts it all together. Now, these are the primary benefits. What I enjoy about this slide, obviously each one of us might like one thing or another, whether you like immune health or you want to improve your sperm count, hey, it's up to you. But you notice there's no slide that says harmful effects. There are no harmful effects. You only have primary benefits. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.